Welcome back to the channel. Today's victim is going to be this little blower, and I believe the brand name is Little Wonder Blower. I guess that's what it is. I just kind of looked up online to see what they go for, and I guess new, the cheaper one, and I'm assuming this is a cheap one, it's probably around $1,500. But it was dropped off to me, it has a little issue, and if you listen when I pull, you can hear the clunking in there. So I'm not quite sure what it is. I am fearing it is the crankshaft. I don't know if it's something we can fix. Also, I am not sure, but if you look down, try to get the light out of your way. Down in there below the yellow cap, it almost looks like the bottom of that housing is cracked. So what do you say we tear into it and see if we can fix it, or perhaps we'll go another route and do something else. I don't know. Let's dig in and find out. So the first thing I think we ought to start with is removing this housing in here, because I'm sure that there's a nut or something that has the fan bolted to the end of the crankshaft, and we won't be able to remove it without that. So I believe these are just a half-inch nut. There's one here that's actually missing, and the good thing is it doesn't seem as if there is it's a loose nut in there. It's more of a captured nut. Put a little light on the subject so you see a little better. And see, hopefully they don't spin and it is captured nut. Or that's good. Hold it up here. And you know what, actually, I don't think I gotta take all them off. Yeah. Guess I don't have to take all the nuts off. So, what are you saying? 9/16? Is it a 9/16? It is a 9/16 in there. Don't know how well that's coming out on video. And hopefully it's not a reverse. Nah. Good. So I do think that's a nice solid piece of metal. Alright, so the blade does extend past that, so I don't think that's going to really benefit us. But I'm going to stick the bolt back in here because I may have to shock that off of the shaft. Good. And all we have left is this one nut up here, and then we're going to have to shock the shaft off of it. But I think I might actually have to, looks like I'm going to have to take this one off first right here. And there's no real way to pull that. I don't know if I can get behind it. But usually you try to get a pry bar behind it and then whack this a few times, it'll bring it off. I just got to figure out how to get behind this one. And I may end up having to take this larger cover off just to do that. Give me a little more room. A little more access. Not a set screw in there, is there? I don't think there is. Nah, I don't see no set screw. See if it is coming out, and it might be coming out a little bit. Well, I might have to resort to a little heat. So the problem I'm having is I really can't get behind here and pry this. And the motor, you know, you got this, what, 1/8 inch plate between this and the motor. So the motor's unbolted, and what I want to try to do right now is just use the weight of the motor falling backwards. It's up on its back, and maybe that'll help out since I can't pry it. And this plate is just laying flat on the back at this point. I think this is a long shot. I give it maybe a 10% chance of working, allowing the motor, the weight of the motor, but you know, hey, let's just give it a try. If I can get on it. Well, how you like that one? All right, propped it up a little bit, give the engine a little more room to drop. How long is that thing? Take a little piece of cut off, slide down in there, so we can put our hammer back on. There we go. Finally. Back you up here. And you can see the carnage. And get this thing out of the way. All right, what do you say we go ahead and drain the rest of the oil out of this thing and see what it looks like. We did lose a considerable amount, so I know it's not going to be a whole lot. Let her drain out. There's somewhere in there. I don't really see any. Some of that might be what was already in the pan, that color. But that should take care of the rest of that. Now let's see if we can find out what's wrong with this engine. Alright, I forgot to push the play button when I removed this casing here, but what I do see, and I'm not looking so much at the rocking of the crank, but if you look at the connecting rod, how much it moves on that journal, if you look right here, it is not supposed to be rocking like that, so there's way too much play in there. The other thing I noticed, it is very rigid right through here. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but it is worn in, and then the corresponding area on the bearing that would ride in it is also scored up pretty bad. So it was a lack of oil or something getting to it. So this motor pretty much is toast. But I do have a backup plan for the blower, so just stand by and we'll get to that. But at first I think I would like to disassemble this a little farther and take a better look at that connecting rod. So before I get to the plans for that little blower, what do you say we go ahead and pull this crank and connecting rod out of the piston? Take a look and see how bad this engine is. Now this is a Briggs and Stratton. It's an L head. I don't know if I said it earlier, but I believe this is around the 2000. I think this was made. And the little blower is, as I said, around what, $1,400 for a little one, a new one. Oops, I missed one. Why didn't you tell me? Yeah, she's definitely been leaking a lot of oil. You can see it all up in here. The seal. That's probably what happened, is the seal went bad. It would be my guess. I mean, I don't really know. But the way she's all caked up in there. And we'll see if we just can't knock this flywheel off real quick. That's what's nice about an impact. You don't really need to hold the other end. Look at that. I have never seen one come off that easy. That's a first for me. And that's even a tapered shaft. That should not have come off that easy. But, I don't know. I ain't going to argue about it. Take the key out. Keep that. And what do you say? Take the head off next. And we'll zip these off. Oops. Grab the stud. And see what's under here. Got one more little tiny on the pin there, and I don't feel like bending that all out. And let's see now what's under there. Doesn't really look too bad. Head gasket's looks like the head gasket was blown now, because I didn't. Yeah, a big chunk of it come out right here. And a lot of carbon, but I don't see any play in the piston. But back to our problem. Rotate that down so I can get it. And this is just an oil flinger rate. Well, you can't see. Right there. That's the oil slinger, which lubricates the whole system. Just rotates on the crank, slings the oil all over. See if we can't break these loose. I have a ratchet. My ratchet broke. I will need to replace that. That would have been good for here. One bolt. And out with the Okay, I'm gonna bring the cap with it. See how bad that cap is, the bearing. A little weird, that actually don't look that bad. Well, most of your wear is usually on the tops of the pistons. So let me see if I can't push that piston up. Maybe if I rotate the crank to the... There we go. Yeah, I'm kind of fighting myself now. But pull the cam out real quick. That should just lift out. There'll be a little pressure on it because of the valves. I guess this one didn't. And that's one of the other videos I showed you, the decompression. This is the decompression valve for this small engine right here. Turn this. So I managed to jam it up in there. There we go. Now this will turn up in there. I should be able to pull this crank out. That actually don't look that bad, but the damage is here. That's all grooved really bad, and this end, so that bearing on the other casing is shot. This is completely wiped out. See how bad that is right there? It is wiped out. So that is junk. And the top rod has some wear in it. You can see some marks, but honestly, by looking at it, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than what it was, or what it is. But either way, that ring is free. The bottom compression ring seems to be a little, maybe not, but there's a lot of metal in there too. And that would be from the bearings disintegrating. And I think the other side, the bearing on the other side of this, if I'm not mistaken, it is a, it might be a roller bearing. Just some lifters. Let me flip this up. Let's see what it is. No, actually it wasn't. But it is bad shape. You know what? I think it was. I think it was. And the bearings are just gone. I'm not sure about that, but either way, it's all, the whole shaft all through here is all destroyed, and this block is no good. But I will be pulling a couple parts off of it, the coil, stuff like that, just to keep for spare parts in case I need it down the road on something else. But hang on one second, let me clean this mess up and I'll show you what is going to be replacing this, and more than likely you already know. Alright, so what I have to replace that engine is this one, and I'm sure you probably guessed it was going to be a Harbor Freight Predator, and you know how I can tend to talk bad about Harbor Freight and some of their tools, but everything I've heard about the Predator engines, it seems to be pretty good, and for the price. The only problem that I'm going to have to overcome. Now, my distance from the plate to the center shaft is the same, so I'm good there. However, this is a 3/4 inch shaft. The one that came off of it is a 1 inch, so I'm going to have to put a sleeve on it. And the other thing is, this shaft is maybe a 1/4 inch, I think, shorter than the one that was on it. So I might have to do something to work around that. Now, I do have a sleeve coming, which will make up the difference for the 1 inch shaft here. But let's stick it up here, see if it how well it lines up. And I think the bolt pattern, get you situated here. I think the bolt pattern will be, for the mounting, will be okay. So, and I still have the fan in here too. I might have to come this way. Don't want to drop it. And I'm not sure, might have issues with the mounting on the is that the exhaust? That's the exhaust. So I might have to do something to change that exhaust if it gives me a problem. I got a tie on there still, which I probably ought to pull that off because I got my fan bleed on. Let me remove this and cut that tie and get the key out of my way. I should have done that first. There we go. It's out. Now, try it again. Now I gotta lift the blade up a little bit. I'm gonna get in your way here, son. And that is all the farther I am able to go because of the housing here hitting. This is the exhaust. So I kind of anticipated that. And I got to go about an inch. Looks about an inch farther. You can see the mounting hole here and the one on the base here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And I kind of anticipated this, to be honest with you. I knew it wasn't going to be a direct fit. So let me pull this off. And again, I'm going to have to get in your way for a second. Now we're stuck. Can't move it. Can't move it. That'll do it. Kind of got it falling out. There we go. Alrighty, now do our bolt holes lined up, and I think they do. I think they do. Where's our oil? Here's our oil to put it in there. Okay, we're good because I got an oil drain and an oil fill on both sides, so that's good. And shaft wise, you're not going to be able to see it, but eyeing it up, I think once I get that spacer, we are going to be fine. We are going to be fine with that spacer. Alright, so as I was saying earlier, if I cut the other pipe off and bring her up to here, that's going to bring it back, and then this I can reclock this way. As long as these bolts don't snap off, that is. Alright, so I think for now, I am at a little bit of a standstill until I get that bushing in. Alright, to get around the little issue of the shaft being only 3/4 on this Predator engine, what I did is I went on Amazon and I purchased a sleeve, and this sleeve will bring this shaft from a 3/4 outside diameter to a 1-inch diameter to meet the same size on the hub, which is also 1-inch diameter. Now I actually ordered 2 of these, and the thing that surprises me, here's both of the keys, okay? The one key, if you look at it, and I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but it's actually 50 thousandths of an inch shorter than the other key. And the taller one actually won't fit, and it's supposed to be 1/4 by 3/16. It will not fit on a 1/4, and it will not fit on the shaft on the 3/16 either, because the shaft keyway is a 3/16 and the hub keyway is 1/4 inch. So I mean, you can file that down to make it fit, wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I don't have to because the other one actually fits pretty good. And the way this works, you'll have your key and then your sleeve, and you'll see that it actually does. And I wish it would protrude up a little bit farther, but I think that's going to be fine. And this will actually, it's tall enough to actually key into the keyway on the hub. So we should be in good shape there. The only thing that I'm not sure about, and we might actually have to trim back this collar a little bit. It might be too long because this is a 3-inch, and I think the original engine was a 3-inch also, but I don't know where the spacing between the housing is going to place this fan blade. This is the part that rotates inside. So let's get her set up in there, get the bolt holes lined up on the engine, and see where the fan blade actually falls in there. So I think the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and set the hub in there, the fan, and I'm going to go ahead and put the keyway so it's up at the 12 o'clock position. Get the fit in there. There we go. I had to get the hub lined through the hole in the back. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put the key in the hub, and hopefully there's enough drag to hold it up there. It may not be. I could probably even put the sleeve in too. I'll lay that forward just a hair so nothing will fall down into the exhaust port. Now let's see if we can get this lined up. And I guess I better line the key up. Good. Good. Now I'm going to put a couple bolts down in the engine to line that up. So I'm just going to drop in a couple engine bolts, mounting bolts, to line it up with the hole. Then we can see exactly where the fan is going to sit in the housing, and hopefully, if we're fortunate, it'll be perfect. I can't find that hole on that one yet. The front one, I think, no. I was thinking maybe it was slotted. And I think I gotta come towards you a tiny bit. Back. Looks like I'm close. Give it a little tilt. There we go. And the front's in, back. Now I'm gonna go around the other side, put one on that side, so we got 3 points. And that's 3. Now the question is going to be, where does the fan lay in here? Are we too far forward? Oh man, you know what? I think we got very lucky. It is not hitting anything. Nothing. We have probably about an 1/8 inch right here, which is more than enough in the back. Yeah, I really am happy where that is. Now, the one thing I don't have is the mounting bolt. And if you look down in here, the shiny part right on the inside, that's the sleeve. And if you remember, the sleeve is 3 inches long. The shaft, which sits back there, is 2.5 inches, a little shy. I would prefer we had a full-length shaft, but we just don't. And the concern is, the farther the weight is out on the end of that shaft, you could be putting more pressure on it, and then maybe it's snapping. I hope that's not going to happen. We do have that bushing which comes out all the way, which will also help to support that. And the bushing is what's going to push. It'll lock it in. It'll stay on the front hub, and then down there in the back, it mounts all the way to the back of the shaft. So we are in there solid. But now I just have to get a long enough bolt. I'm going to have to run down to the hardware store so we can lock it all in place. All right, I went out, picked up a 5/16 inch bolt by 2.5, 24 thread. I was looking for a flange nut. They did not have one, so for now that's going to do. But I probably will order one up and replace that. So now the next thing I want to do, and by the way, I went ahead and bolted the motor down to the frame also. So the next thing we need to do is jump on the exhaust system, as I had already explained. So I think what I'm going to do is these ears, they just don't line up. So I'm just going to trim this back the best I can without actually cutting the pipe. And then on the other one, what I want to do is go ahead and just slice it off right here, because you can see it is a pipe. And then I want to try to get this here piece out of it, and that'll allow me to slide it right over this one here. And with that, I think it'll work out perfectly. If you look where it's, well, my hand's in the way, but if you look where it's pointing, I'll just reclock the head. I think that's going to be perfect. All right, after a little bit of grinding and chiseling, I got that pipe out of the old one out of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay this down into position. And now I'm going to take the muffler off the old engine and try to clock it. I think our best bet's probably going to be like this right here. So let me squeeze that down in there, and that'll give me the position. I'm going to knock it back, then I'm going to weld it up. And a little test fit before welding. Why are we not fitting? Yeah, so where this goes in here, this is actually too low. So I'm going to have to take a grinder and I'm going to have to clip this up a little bit to clear. Now that I think about it, the one I took off was flush. It didn't protrude through. So probably what's going to happen is I'm going to have to cut this off so that it'll fit down in here. Because if you look, you can see how it, let me get some of that dirt out of there. It kind of angles down a little bit, right? So it's almost flush. I'm trying to get the light, but it might be washing you out. But you can see there's almost a floor to it right here. So that pipe is trying to hit right here. Isn't that some really nice welds on that flange? That's enough. But anyway, it is on there, and it's solid. It is just a hair close. It is just a hair close here. I did try to heat this up cherry red a little bit and bend it, but I just didn't really have a good way to hold it in the vise without crushing the can. So I think I'm just going to let that go. It is what it is. I think it'll be fine. And stop looking at the welds. Got to put some paint over them. There's our gasket, and it went this way. Nope. Okay, that way. That's how it goes. So the gasket goes there. This one stud's going to be a pain. I probably should have, well, I was going to say I should have put it on before I put the motor on, but I didn't know where to weld the thing with the motor not on there. But we'll get the one started. Now I got to find the other one. There we go. And I should be able to reach around and grab this one, and then I should be able to just tighten them down. The next thing we got to deal with is clocking this top, because right now the exhaust is just shooting up, and you really don't want that. Now, I am a little bit nervous about these. If one of them snaps, I'm just going to leave it like it is. Hopefully, it's not going to snap. Oh no, that came out. That broke loose easy. That's good. Alright, maybe all the heat I'd put into it earlier might have helped it. Sometimes these things get bad. And it is now. Alrighty. I'm gonna call that done. Time to get a little oil in it, a little bit of gas. Oh, guess I better put the front up on here yet. Let me get that on real quick, then we'll get the gas and oil in it and see how it runs. Hopefully it's not all out of balance. And this, I guess, goes in this way, and then this bracket holds it in place. All right, I'll have to get another nut for that one. All right, so what do you say we get some oil, some gas? Stop moving around. We'll get some oil, some gas in it, fire it up, and see if it runs and how it runs, and hopefully it's not off balance. But first, I gotta clean this mess up. I got tools and everything everywhere. Alright, so it's going for 10W30 oil, and I do have a little bit left. It's actually Kubota. Some I have from my Kubota. Everything else is not 1030. So it says it only takes about a half a quart, and I know they don't take much. So I'll probably end up overflowing it and watching it spill out. That's what will happen. A little more? We leaking yet? No, I don't see nothing leaking out yet. I think I'll stop right there. Get my rag. Take a gander. See where we're at. And it looks to me, nah, we got a ways to go yet. It looks like said half a quart. I put about a half a quart in there. Hopefully it ain't leaking out somewhere. What we do have a dipstick. Try to keep that from leaking all over. Now some of these engines, and it'll usually tell you on the stick, some of them you don't screw in, some you will. And it is on the stick. So I want to add a little bit more, because we're down about the bottom quarter. And give it another try. See where we're at. We're a little over halfway up on the stick. So I think we'll be good. And it also has a low oil sensor on it. So if it doesn't have it up there, man, I'm making a mess all over this floor. If there's not enough oil in it, it'll actually shut the engine off. So we'll put a little gas in it first. That might help. Get the gas cap off. What's this? Put these little strainers in there. I find them to be rather annoying. Give it a little gas. That's enough. Alrighty. Move this out of the way. Now we should have switches on. Choke, choke, choke. Top one's the choke. Fuel is on already. I guess that's the throttle. So we'll give her, we'll choke it and give her a little throttle. And place your bets. How many pulls? If it'll even start. Let's see what happens. tell you, I'm a little bit surprised. I didn't think I was going to start on the first pull. I haven't even pulled it over before. That's the first time. First pull it started. I'm shocked at that. It's not vibrating too bad. Who's to say that's not out of balance somewhat? But overall, I think it's pretty decent. I think maybe I'll try blowing a little leaves off the driveway. We don't have a whole lot right now, but it is getting ready to start dropping leaves. But let me see if I can find something, see how this thing works. All right, guys, gotta do the money shot, right? So not too many leaves are down, but let's see how well this works in the driveway. Alright guys, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it works a lot better than I thought, and that was actually given to me after the motor was determined to be no good. So that's my money in there, and I told the guy that I would sell it back to him for what I have in it, but honestly, I don't even think I want to sell it now. This thing works fantastic. But I want to thank you for hanging out with me in the garage and bringing old junk back to life, and I'll see you on the next video.